welcome to another episode of Kandid Konversations with Ken. Today's conversation is going to be a little different and more free-flowing. I have Mr. Trevion here today, and we're going to be talking about all things, everything manhood. Trevion is a great mentor, example, and he's just a ball of energy. And I wanted to get him in here today just to touch on a couple of topics, but mainly just life in general. So before we get started with everything we have today, sir, how are you?
I'm doing just fine. How about yourself?
I'm good. Now, the first question, regardless of who sits here, I ask them is, who are you as a person?
Who am I as a person? My role has changed in recent history. I like to say, first and foremost, I am a man first. I always tell people that I will never lose the fact that I am a man. And that's in any situation. So that's dealing with parents, kids, anything. So but I stand on that strong. Like, I'm never going to fold from being a man, you know. Secondly, I'm a father. You know, that's another thing that's just near and dear to my heart. Like, for the rest of my life, I have two people that I know, whatever they go through, I need to be there or be able to help them or support them in, either way. My daughter can never get married, just letting y'all know that right now. Just not gonna happen. She better wait till I die.
She gonna get married.
No, I can't see it happening.
She gonna get married.
Can't see it happening. I'm also a husband. That's another role that I'm learning. That's forever evolving. Shout out to all the husbands out there. I know what you're going through, brother. Stay strong. You know, they're gonna try to break you down, but just keep fighting the good fight. You know, they say it's teamwork, but it's really tug of war.
Oh my God.
It is. It's like we're supposed to be going the same direction. You going this direction. I'm trying to go this direction.
We'll talk about that.
Don't get me started. Nah, but it's a beautiful thing. Like I tell people, it's a ever evolving thing. So if you're not ready to keep evolving from one stage to the next, don't get married. And I'm just me. I mean, I'm everybody who knows me. I am probably one of the most loyal people you ever meet, but I am a fool.
Yes.
You'll never be in a room with me and not laugh. I'll just be honest with you like that. We could be in church. We could be at a funeral. We could be wherever. I'm probably going to make you laugh. That's just me.
Okay.
But I think laughter is very important. She going to tell you all these therapy things. Just, watch a good movie. I will tell you what else to do and just laugh.
So this won't be a therapy thing. This is really for people it won't be me being a therapist. It'll be me having a conversation with like one of my friends.
Okay.
And so one of the things I've seen over the years, if you don't remember, I met you in high school.
I know.
Okay, yeah. So we met in high school. And the Trevion that I met then, even though you're the same comical, goofy person, ball of energy, I've watched you transform into a man. And a man who imparts wisdom, and not just in men, but also in women. Like, I've just seen the transformation. And I hope that happens for everybody. Like, over time, I hope we all transform. But I've definitely seen the transformation in you. So one of the things I want to know is what contributed to that?
I would say my biggest influence in life is my father. And it's just knowing that you go from one stage to the next. And being the person that you are, if you're not always trying to help someone or, help a situation, your life is kind of not worth anything in a sense. Even if it's your kids, if it's, your family members or somebody, And to me, if I could just share my experiences with the next person and they don't have to go through that, then I've done my job in a sense. And if it's just one person, and also, it's just one of the things is, like, I don't think people have real conversations anymore. A lot of people are scared of the truth.
Yeah.
And I am very cut and dry with the truth. And to me is, if I F with you, I F with you. So I'm going to tell you the truth, and I'm not going to care how you feel, because I know it's probably for your benefit versus, some people that'll, kind of just pat you back. Oh, you be all right. Yeah, no, you was wrong. That's what it is. Face that, and then you go on to the next thing.
So your dad was the example,
right?
And then over time, you realized that people needed to hear the truth, and they weren't being told the truth.
Well, I just think people are nowadays, like, if I disagree with you, some people feel like I'm like attacking in a sense, and I'm not attacking. I just don't agree with you, and I have the right to my opinion, just like you have the right. And a lot of people can't agree to disagree.
Yeah,
I'm not telling you how to feel. I'm just telling you how I feel, and the fact is the fact. And if you're wrong, you're wrong. That's just what it is. And some people don't like to hear that they're wrong, or they might have done something wrong, or they made a mistake. In the back of their mind, I think you know it, but you just don't want to. You want other people to address it. But if I'm your friend, you talking to me about a situation, you were wrong.
Yeah.
But I have other friends that are like that as well, and they cut and dry. And not to say I won't always be in your corner, wrong or right, but you're wrong.
Yeah. Okay, so I have several questions just stemming from that. But let me start with the first one. So, when you're telling these truths, do you feel like, I know that you're a very cut and dry person, but do you feel like there's ever a time in which you have to be mindful of the delivery depending on the person and your truthfulness?
Now, I just want to walk up to the next person and just be like, "Oh, you shouldn't went left or right." If I cut for you, you know me, so I feel like you wouldn't take it a certain way, or you shouldn't take it a certain way because it's not coming from a malicious place. I've never woke up and said I'm going to go hurt somebody's feelings today.
Yeah,
this is just not me.
Yeah,
and that's not what I'm doing. Now, if I do hurt your feelings, it's not intentional. So it's just one of the things is if you come talk to me about anything you're going through. I'm going to tell you straight up, in my opinion, or if it's a fact, that was wrong. It is what it is. Now, let's fix it. But you got to address that it was wrong first. I think that's the only way you can get over a situation. If you address the nitty-gritty, sometimes you just got to bite the bullet and just dive right in and just deal with it like that.
I agree. So I've had that conversation with other people who've been on here and just talking about like the truth, right? And sometimes we don't face it, and as a result of us not facing it, we don't grow. So if you're not honest with yourself, if you're not honest with the people around you about your expectations, about things you want, you desire, you're not growing, and you're not allowing yourself the opportunity to grow. So for me, one of the truths, when I got to that point, I started asking the people around me, because sometimes you see yourself in a certain way, but your friends who know and love you, they see you in a certain way. And even your family, like your mama, your daddy, everybody sees you in a certain light.
Right.
So when I was ready to face the truth about myself a couple years ago, when I was trying to go through this point of transformation, do all these things, I asked my closest friends, I said, what are some things that you don't like about me that you want to see change? And they're like, oh, let me think of, they couldn't come up with anything.
Oh, I could have came up with a couple of them.
But they took some time to answer that question for me. And in my head, if you're honest with yourself, you already know some truths about you. I think people know the truth. It's just hard hearing it. So in my head, I already had some things I kind of knew that I didn't like and I wanted to see change. So one of them was perfectionism. Everybody knows I'm a perfectionist, right? I want things to be perfect. That's a horrible trait to have when you think everything has to be perfect, or you have to put on this certain facade.
Well, yeah, and I tell people if you're not true with yourself, say if you're overweight and you're eating a Big Mac, you're not trying to help the situation. You know that you're overweight, you're still eating this Big Mac. I like Big Macs too. It is what it is.
We're not eating McDonald's 2021.
Huh?
We're not eating McDonald's 2021.
I've ate it a couple times in 2021. Shout out to Mickey D's. But like I said, there's a number, if you're eating a Big Mac and you're overweight, you know that you're overweight. You just don't want to address that situation. And so some of the things, you have to peel back that layer by layer.
Yeah.
And some of those things. And some people can't rip off the Band-Aid. So, if it's layer by layer, if it's just not eating McDonald's, is your first step. And then your next step is just not eating this and just not eating that. You can just gradually get there. Nobody's turned perfect overnight. So,
okay.
But me personally, the way certain people view me wouldn't bother me. I have a lot of self-value and confidence, so it's just, That's just where I kind of disagree with you on that, because I feel like if you wake up in the mirror and you're the person that you want to be, who else matters?
So yes, I get that and I understand that. But to my point, what I was saying was I was ready to change because something about me I didn't like the person that I was. So I knew there were things I wanted to work on, but I also wanted to know if the people I cared about saw some of those things. And so I had to face these truths because I realized, one, I wasn't getting the results I wanted. One, I just wasn't the person I wanted to be. And so for me, I had to face some truths. And I wanted to ask you, have there ever been, whether regardless if people have said these things, has there ever been an uncomfortable truth that you had to face with yourself?
Oh, of course. One of the things is, just to be candid, I have alcoholism on both sides of my family. I didn't drink at a young age. I started drinking maybe at 20. Like in high school, people in high school, I would never drink alcohol. I was just like, don't see the point.
Yeah.
It's disgusting. Now, I love it. But I went through a stage at the age of maybe 23-ish to where I felt like I was drinking every day. And, going from a small town in college to back to Houston, trying to drive, half drunk, you just like, then I had to sit down and just like, I'm overdoing it. Not saying, I'm not going to say I'm an alcoholic, but I'm going down those routes. And I just cold turkey stopped drinking for 6 months. And all the people were like, why? Yeah. But then I had one of my friends, he was like, I think that's live that you address that situation. And now when I drink, I can control it. Like, it's not one of those things I just drink to, I'm out of there. I just drink to it, I got to the point where I want to get to for that situation. That was probably one of the things is not following patterns of generational patterns, I guess. So just dealing with that in a sense.
Okay. So you noticed something that was in your family, and then you noticed that you were potentially going down that same route.
Right.
You were like, I don't want to do that.
Right.
So I'm going to face this truth that this could be true about me.
Right.
But I'm going to change it.
Right.
Okay. What's a truth, and you don't have to say the person's name, what's a truth that you may have told a friend that could have been uncomfortable that they probably weren't ready to face? Or a family member? And let's take it a step further, because I know Trevion likes to speak to the masses, right? So even if it's not a friend or like a specific person or a family member, what's an uncomfortable truth that you feel like people are not ready to hear? Besides the fact that we don't want to hear the truth.
I had a conversation with a friend of mine about a relationship that she was in. And I kind of told her that she was the problem, even though she thought her spouse was the problem. And just to think about it is, in a relationship, if you're not holding the other person accountable, it's kind of partially on you as well. And if you're not trying to find solutions, you're only trying to drag that person down about that problem, it's not going to work, in a sense. So, kind of addressing, like, you only can control you.
Yeah.
So if you're not giving that person the best you, how do you expect them to even attempt to change or try to change or even listen to what you're saying? Because if I'm negative, there's some people can't turn that into positive energy. But if I come to you, hey, I know you might lost your job, this, that, and the third, but it's okay. Just keep applying. We're gonna go through this together. Yeah. 9 times out of 10, that person's gonna wake up the next morning and do everything they have to do. Versus if you sorry, you this, I should never F with you and yada yada. When we had money, everything was good. But now that things went down, now I'm sorry, now I'm this and now I'm that, and then that one thing that keep negative energy. So when they do go apply for a job, they don't probably feel their value. They don't probably feel their worth. They're not more motivated to get out there and do some things. So just telling people, that even though it's not your problem,
Mm-hmm.
you could deal with it a lot differently than that you probably are. And that could probably help fix the situation faster than you just pointing out the negative all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Delivery is a key thing in dealing with people. And my delivery is my delivery because nobody can quote me, and the people who know me hear it and they be like, oh, Trevion wouldn't say nothing like that.
Yeah.
Because my delivery is my delivery. And I've tried to be consistent with that because rather you or my best friend, if they hear something, y'all hear something, no, that don't sound like something he said. Is that exactly what he said?
Yeah.
And they be like, well, no, that's not what he said. But you kind of know, that person probably stretching the truth or changing the story a little bit or something like that. So.
Okay. So you do have a lot of wisdom to share.
Oh yeah, I don't have no grades yet, but I like to say I'm wise, but I sat in the barbershop for years and listened to the old men talk. So.
Is that where you get it from?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, any man that knows if you don't go to the barbershop and you're not getting laced up on game, you need to find your new barber. Because I mean, growing up, that's a lot of people don't say we go to men don't go to counseling, but when you walk in the barbershop, it's therapy. It's serious. It's serious. And even in the barbershop, and I'm gonna tell you, barbershop, the gym, the basketball court, those are some of the things that you just, sometimes when you with your guys, you have conversation and you're working through these things in those situations, but that's where you feel comfortable. I don't feel comfortable going to sit in the office and, somebody's with a clipboard and just with their little glasses on. LaKendra with her little glasses.
That's not how it is.
Yeah,
when you come in here, my clients know
she be wearing them little glasses
like
and
that.
Nah. But that's what I'm just saying. Like, so, men have their own way of therapy. And that's why I try to tell a lot of women think, well, go to therapy, yada, yada. There's not one way to vent. There's not one way to get things out. There's not one way to release and things of that nature. So if I can go talk to a man that's older than me or even a man that's the same age as me that might be going through something. My barber is married and I'm also married. Then you hear some of the stories that he's going through, some I'm going through. You understand, like, life probably not that bad. So a lot of things you be like, well, I could deal with that. If he's dealing with this, I could deal with that because I don't have to deal with that. And that's just kind of how some of the things that you learn, you can go ask any man, if once you walk in that barbershop, it's just a different feeling, I guess.
No, I understand that. And I was going to ask you if you went to therapy, but I knew the answer, but clearly.
I have as a child.
Mm-hmm.
My parents were divorced, and when I was in school, they would do these crazy things or whatever. And they thought I was angry, but no, I was just bad. In a sense, I had a smart mouth and
still do.
Thought it was cool to be, talk back and things of that nature. But no, not really. Do I think therapy is good? It depends on the person, because you have to be open to it.
And okay, yeah. So as a therapist, I will say that I feel like if you're gonna sit with someone, you do have to be open to the experience. But I do agree that things can be therapeutic, right? So for me, even as a woman, there's no one who knows more about me than my hair. I do have a therapist as well, but the people who do my hair.
You have a therapist?
Yes, I have a therapist. Everybody who knows me knows that I have a therapist.
Oh, I didn't know you had a therapist.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah, I have a therapist just to, clear my head. And the new one I have a new one. So I see this person every week. Before I was seeing her like every 2 weeks. But yeah, I have a therapist that I go to. But I also have, for me, they're like mentors or people you can get the wisdom from. So the lady at the beauty shop, you get some wisdom from the people you're just sitting around.
We're not gonna talk about the beauty shop.
So it looks different for everybody, but you have people who are just talking about their experiences, and it makes you wiser. You learn from that, and you could also learn what roads not to go to. So I do understand that. But at this point in your life, do you feel like there will ever be a point to where you say, I'm open to therapy because there are certain things that I don't want to share in these spaces, and I would rather protect it in a confidential setting? Or there's some things that I'm not learning that I would ultimately like to improve on, and maybe therapy can be a place for me to do so?
I'm not against therapy.
Okay.
I'm not against therapy. Do I think it's a place for me? No, but do I think it's a place for people around me? Probably yes. So I'll be willing to do those things with them, you
Gotcha.
know. And the only thing is, I have no problem telling you how I feel. I deal with the things that I deal with, how I deal with them. And the only thing I can tell you that's the lingering thing in my situation that I can't deal with all the time is death. But I don't think nobody can, in a sense. Some people say that they can cope with death well. I don't think, if you can, I don't really think that's a normal thing. Because I don't think death is a normal thing to just get over, Because if you're going to always love and miss that person if they were near and dear to you. So I would think that would be the only thing that's lingering me. But I don't think I ever want to lose the feeling that I have, I guess. Because, my grandmother, she was my world, on my mom's side of the family. And I would never want to lose that, I guess, that sense of,
mourning a loss of her.
right.
Yeah.
But the fact but I can always laugh about certain things, and those things. I would never lose those memories.
Yeah.
I guess, so. And if I lose the passion in those memories, I think I'll be losing her, I guess. So if I can't laugh and cry about the same situation, I kind of lost her in that sense. And I don't think I ever want to do that.
So, as a therapist, my job is kind of to challenge that. And I'm not going to do it for too long.
Mm-hmm.
So what a lot of people don't realize is there are different types of therapy. Okay, so there's grief. You can go to things about relationship issues. You can go to about anxiety. There are different therapists about different things.
Mm-hmm.
If you feel like you're not acting like yourself, you have imposter syndrome, whatever the case may be. There are different therapies and there are different niches for each area of the life, part of the life that you're going through.
Mm-hmm.
So depending on what stage you are in your life, there's a therapist for you. And I just wanted to say that, before we moved on, there's a different therapist for you and there's an opportunity for you to grow in those experiences. And it also doesn't mean that you can't express yourself. It may also help you navigate some relationships in your life because the people around you may not be able to do that. So it can give you the tools to cope with those things. So therapy sometimes isn't just for you. It's for the people around you as well. So I just wanted to give a quick.
So when I get to the next stage, I just get another barber, and he'll help me with those things. So
okay.
That's how we'll deal with that.
Okay. So we talked about some of the lessons that you've learned, and but we didn't talk about the fact that you're a father. What are some lessons that you want to instill in your children?
Self-confidence. That's just the one thing that I feel like nobody can take away from you. If you establish that, that's just what my parents built in me, self-confidence. I don't care what nobody says about me and things of that nature. I know who I am. And if I can't stand on those things and allow other people's opinions and thoughts about me to affect me, I'm not me. If you don't want me to go left, I don't care. I'm going left because that's what I want to do. But I want them to be self-confident people, And I kind of got my confidence through playing sports and also just the way just certain people, I'm not a man that I say I demand attention. But when I walk in a room, I walk in like a man. I'm going to walk in with my head held high, chest out and things of that nature.
Time out. Trevion likes to be seen and heard. So
I do not like to be seen. Everybody who knows me, I do not like to be seen. I will like to be heard though, because I think I am funny. But I don't like to be seen. I'm not one of those people that post pictures every day on Instagram. And
promoting my business.
So, that's not me. I don't like to be seen. I'm not one of those people that's always on the scene. But if I'm there, I'm going to have a good time. But my kids, that's just one thing, because I do have a daughter, and that's one thing I want her to always know. She has self-confidence in herself. Can't no man take that away from her. You know your value, you know who you are, you know what you stand on, what your principles are. And if you're going to come to the table, come correct, don't come at all. And as my son, as this world is going to, as a black man, the world is going to try to tell you that you're not worth this, you're not worth that. Cool, fine. I'm not going to be invited in every room, but when I do get in the room, perform to the best of your ability, and that's just the realest, Some people be like, well, that's not fair. I know it's not fair. We already know that. they're never going to give you a fair hand.
Yeah.
Why would you?
Yeah.
Why would they? But when you do get in those certain rooms, be educated enough, or even if it's not education, if it's, if you want to go be an electrician or whatever, when you get that opportunity, do it to the best of your ability, because at the end of the day, if you don't have that pride and self-confidence about yourself, nobody else will. And in due time, you will get your flowers, I believe.
So both of them, you would instill self-confidence?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
For your daughter more so, would you say?
Both of them, though.
Okay.
Both of them, because I feel like they're going to deal with certain battles. And I guess for my son, I have to be somewhat the man that I want him to be able to mirror and also be able to gain from. But for my daughter, I have to be the standard of the man that she wants in her life.
That's beautiful.
So, those are some of the things and then like the way that I move and I, do certain things, I have to be mindful so that they can move and do these certain things, if not better, So.
I love that.
I told y'all, man, I'm cold with this, man. Hey, come, I'm going to give me an office in here next to LaKendria. Y'all can come see me. I'm, first 10 people, 20% off. On Tuesday, I'm going to have Popeyes for y'all and everything,
So one of the reasons I chose Trevion is because I think he is just, again, a ball of energy, but also a great source of knowledge. So I'm going to ask you a couple more questions, and then I'm going to respect the rest of your time. So the next question I have, because I've seen you do the evolution. You still a clown, as we can see by the theatrics here. You looking at the right cameras. You on cue. So as I've seen you evolve, what's a piece of advice that you would give to your younger self? Maybe the person that I met, or even younger.
My younger self. Wow. She did stump me with that one. I'm usually never lost for words.
Never.
I guess because I'm not a person of regrets, so it's kind of hard for me to think of that. I think everything I went through was kind of like a experience, and it was a lesson. It was a reason why I was there. So if I was to tell my younger self, it's just accept and gain from the wisdom that was given to you, the game that was given to you prior. And like a lot of guys, we go through this thing with older men, be like, they little bro in me. They treat me like like I'm young, I don't know nothing. But sometimes they're doing that just so you can learn. They're just telling you these things, and they're gonna little bro you. They're gonna do certain things to you, but in any situation, when you have to learn from the person before you, and sometimes they don't want you to bump your head if they have already done it.
Done it, yeah.
So I guess. I guess I would say my younger self, knowing that I would have a daughter, is the way you treat women can affect them for the rest of their life, I guess.
That's beautiful. I like that.
I apologize.
I
apologize, but a lot of women did me wrong too, though. Don't get me wrong.
It's not
now.
about what they did. It's about holding yourself accountable.
Yeah,
that's what you did right now, and we appreciate it.
Well, we going tit for tat. You did me wrong. I did you wrong. What that song say? I did you wrong.
Okay.
You did me. All right.
We thank you. We thank you for your apology. All right, so let's go to...
What would you tell your younger self besides work out?
I would definitely tell myself to keep working out. Okay. What would I tell myself? Don't beat myself up about mistakes.
That's beautiful.
Like, I think you go like that's a part of life. Like, that's a hard lesson to learn, but you're not going to be perfect. And so you just get so caught up on one mistake. Oh my gosh, I did this. Yes, you did. And it's going to be okay, because somebody before you has done that and they're surviving. Keep going. So I think for me, it's just like, once you made a mistake, baby, dust yourself off, get up, and just move different. Like, don't keep doing the same thing over and over again. That makes you foolish. But once you made that mistake, it's okay. And it's going to be okay. Another thing I would tell myself, and I know you only ask me one thing, but lean on people. I am so, like, I can do it, like, I don't, I don't want to talk to people. That's why I have a therapist too, because it's easier for me to talk to a therapist.
Yeah, see how quick I switched this though? I made this my therapy session and she didn't even know it.
I knew you were going to do that.
See, I'm smooth with it like that. So y'all come see me Tuesdays, Popeyes, 2-piece, for everybody who book on time.
But depend on don't be scared to depend on other people, because the same way you need people, the same way people need you, people also need to know that you can be vulnerable too. And that's an important part of our relationship. So those are two things that I would tell my younger self. Now, so we're talking young Trivian, because we're back to you.
Okay.
So young you, let's talk about the person, because you were married like 4 years ago. So let's talk about midlife Trivian. What was one piece of advice that you would give him? Even though you're still like midlife.
Like college?
Yes, college you.
Like college me? Honestly, my college experience, only thing I can tell you is I wish I would have just studied more. But my college experience was beautiful. I mean, to the fact that I feel like I found who I was and what was my niche, I guess, in life. And the only way I can say that is because, like, I worked 3 out of the 4 years I was in college. And I worked almost pretty much full-time jobs and went to school full-time the whole time. So I knew, like, my determination, my will, and things of that nature would stand me out over a lot of people that were more intelligent than me, because I was willing to bear those long hours and not complain. Mm-hmm. And then also take the mistakes and also just bounce back. So I guess the midlife me would have to be more on the back to the situation with, I guess, how I dealt with women.
Okay. The laughter is making me nervous.
Nah, it's just because I'm a very observant person, and then you can see. I think a lot of men we are manipulative at some certain points in our lives.
Thank you for owning it.
But it's not always okay. But I also say this is the truth. This is very true. And I want a lot of women to accept it. You let these situations happen because you want them to happen. In a lot of sense. No, and I'm not talking about the forced situation. I'm saying like the platonic situations. Mm-hmm. That you let a lot of these things happen just because you let them happen. You didn't have to deal with it if you really didn't want to. So, but my thing is I guess I could have been a little bit more respectful, maybe. Okay. More responsible, maybe.
Okay.
Whew, that was a hard one. I had to.
Okay, it's a hard truth. Okay.
It is.
It's a hard truth, but I'm happy that you said that, and I'm sure somebody younger in that position in college is gonna watch,
right?
And you're gonna resonate with them
because my brothers are in college now. Mm. I never tell them to do the things that I did, as far as dealing with women. I don't promote them doing certain things that I did because I know it can create horrible habits, can create horrible situations. It can a lot of toxic situations that you go through that you're just like, I wasn't a good person in that situation, so all you can do is apologize afterward, I guess, But I do try to tell my brothers, like, and I used to frown upon, it's okay to get a girlfriend, it's okay to like one girl, it's okay to do these certain things, because when I got to college, I just thought that was blasphemy. I was just like, all these women, you want me to pick one. All these beautiful, and there's more coming every year. I just didn't understand how you're supposed to just pick one. It just didn't make sense to me, but
But now.
And then you go to other schools and there's even more women. I remember the first day I went to PV for Hump Day. Oh, God.
And we digress. So
you talking about buffet.
And we digress. So now we're at the point where you're at now. Mm-hmm. If someone who's like you, they're a husband, they're a father, they're a man, they're all these different hats, what's a piece or a couple pieces of advice that you would give to them? You can think about it.
It's okay if you need help. It's okay if you need help. Never be too prideful to say you need help, I guess. But when you get that help, don't harp on it. Even if it's, just for example, if you need $100 for your rent just this one time, get that. It's okay to go to those people that you feel comfortable with. Whether that be your dad, your brother, your cousin, your best friend, whatever. I'm in a bad spot right now, but don't let that be your story. Don't be that person that always goes, but hey, bro, I know I hit you for 100 last week. Let me get 25. I need some gas. Everybody hates that person. But it's okay to be that. It's okay to, because you'll stress so much more about trying to figure it out when you would get the help and then, kind of bounce back from that and, continue to grow. Because you're going backwards and you're stressing about it. You're like, oh man, I need to do this. You can't even focus on the next month's rent because you're so backlogged about that one
time you had to ask for
right, that $100, and you're just like, oh, I don't want to ask, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that, So it's okay to ask for help, and it's okay to be vulnerable. I posted something the other day talking about my friends dealing with situation with my son being born prematurely, and him going through a lot of things. But literally, my boys, none of them ever made me feel weak. You know what I'm saying? Whether I was crying, whether I told them I cried, whether, I was telling them bro, I just couldn't do this, yada, yada. And it was just, I was able to open up. And they accepted and things of that nature. And they gave you words of encouragement and just keep going. So get you a safe space. Whether it's therapy or whether it's certain things like that. I have my friends. They are a lot like me. A lot like beautiful people, though. I never change them even my female friends. Beautiful people. And the fact that I can be vulnerable with these people and they never take advantage of you. But also realize everybody's not your friend.
Yeah.
Everybody's not your friend. Anybody who ever, if you borrow $100 when they hold it over your head, it's not your friend. Anybody who
reminds you of your mistakes
constantly, not your friend.
Yeah.
And women, if you're gonna deal with a man who made a mistake, I'm not saying that get over it tomorrow, but if you're gonna keep harping on it, just leave him alone. Simple as that. Because he would probably left you alone. So
we're going to make another episode. But I'm gonna let you finish.
But what I'm saying is never make somebody feel bad about a mistake if you say that you're gonna accept it and help them work through it, or you guys are gonna work through it. It is. They're probably feeling bad enough already, I guess. And then now and do things that you enjoy. Simply, just do things that you enjoy. Find you, I would say at least 2 or 3 times out of a month. If you enjoy basket weaving, find you 2 or 3 times out the month to go basket weave, If you enjoy, I don't even care if you enjoy going to the strip club, find you 2 or 3 times out the month to go throw some dollars. Because, you need those moments. What do you enjoy? What is your 2 or 3 times a month thing
this
that you enjoy?
This is about you.
But I'm asking you.
Okay, so what are some things that I enjoy? I do what I'm a single woman, so I do a lot of things that I enjoy.
Lord.
I enjoy traveling,
shopping.
I enjoy shopping. I enjoy taking care of myself, but I don't have to consult people for the things that I enjoy.
Oh, okay.
And so the purpose of this is for people to hear your story.
I'm just asking though, because they could.
No, honestly, I make time for the things that I enjoy. And I enjoy this. Like, even though this is technically work, this is also a passion project for me. So sitting down talking to people, right. I would do this for, I enjoy it. So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But, yeah, I would say definitely make time for things that you enjoy. And if naps is what you enjoy, take your nap.
I enjoy naps, too, along with quiet time.
Me, too. I love naps. I wake up to take a nap. Like on the weekends, I wake up at like 6 in the morning, 5 in the morning, just to go back to sleep.
What time do you go back to sleep to see if we go back to sleep at the same time?
Like if I wake up at like, so usually I'm up at like 6:37ish. Probably go to sleep like at like 9.
Oh no, I probably take my nap like around 11, between 11 or 1. Like I'm like I just need a nap. I need to lay down and go back to sleep.
Yeah, if I go to sleep at that time, I do it for the rest of the day.
Oh, okay.
It's a wrap.
What advice would you give to parents? Because parenting, to me, it's like,
whoo.
Oh my gosh. So what advice would you give to parents?
Be equipped for it. Mm-hmm. And I know you're not equipped for it nobody's equipped. I mean, when you get that, I didn't get a call, but when you get that as a man, somebody telling you that they're pregnant and you're about to have a child, it's like your whole life is kind of like, you're just like, it's like a hurricane going around you. You're just like, what am I supposed to do now? It's just like the first thing is just like, because honestly, I wasn't struggling financially. I wasn't struggling mentally. I wasn't struggling with a lot of things. It was just like, now I have another person to consider in all decisions that I make, and so it's just kind of try to equip yourself with the thing and go with. I think, and this is just, some people think I'm crazy, but if you're a parent, you get it. You get these certain intuitions, I guess, as a parent, and just go with those things, and fix your toxic traits through your kids.
Oh, so that's something. Okay, so we go to the same church for the most part. So
no, I do not go to that church.
Oh, you used to.
My wife goes to that church, and my dad goes to that church. Okay. I don't go to that church.
Okay, so
I don't go to that Black Panther church she goes to.
Anywho, one of the things I learned in church, and even it's in the Bible. So, and we're gonna wrap up soon, but in the Bible, it talks about whatever you don't fix, it'll go down to your children. So for you to say, like, whatever things you don't handle, it'll be passed down to your children. So for you to say to fix your toxic traits through your children, what did you mean by that?
Just certain things that you're feeling like, certain things that you just, like me, like I just told you, like how I tell my brothers, don't be like me towards women at that age. I never want my son to be like that,
Gotcha.
Now, granted, it's kind of hard because it's kind of like a backstory. I guess growing up, I always heard the more women, the more man you were, and that's not necessarily true. Mm-hmm. So I don't want that to instill that in my son. Even though I joke about it, I don't want to instill that in my son because I want him to be a great father. I want him to be a great husband. I want him to be, a great man. And if I'm telling him the opposite things, I'm failing as a father.
Gotcha.
Even like my daughter, some of the things that I know I put women through, kind of put her on game to where she doesn't. And any father that doesn't give his daughter game, you're cheating her, And not saying you know everything, but you have to talk to her like the men gonna talk to her in a sense. And not saying like the way you communicate with her, but you sit her down, this is what you're gonna hear. This is what you're gonna deal with. And and I would never take away anybody from doing something that they chose to do, but make sure that's your choice and not what the other person is influencing on you.
Gotcha. I just wanted to get clarity on that. Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, but there's a lot of, like, even like, like generational issues, I was, like, my parents don't have degrees, they have great jobs and things of that nature, but it took them time to get to those situations. So, one of the biggest things with me being the firstborn is you have to go to college, and not saying that you have to do what you do with your degree, but let's break that barrier for the next generation. So now your kids know that it's possible for that to happen. So if they want to go to college, they can break. It's not a barrier anymore. Somebody's done it. So, I don't have a master's degree. My wife does. So those barriers are already broken, so they know those things are possible. So a lot of times, it takes a special person to think about something that they never seen and accomplish it.
Yeah.
So being around certain people or your family breaking certain barriers and getting to certain stages, that, hey, I know I can at least go this far. I've seen this person do this. And I come from this person. So, just stuff like that.
Okay. Last question. Is there any piece of advice that you would want to give to anybody watching, whether it's...
Ooh-wee.
And we're going to keep it short.
How many women is watching this? Nah. I guess as men, I would tell another man, just in situations, is in like relationships, I guess, you're the logical being in the situation, and never lose that aspect of the dynamic of your relationship, because once you let your emotions get the best of you, it's two emotional people fighting instead of one logical, one emotional person, and things could go a lot worse when two emotional beings are in those situations. And I guess women, I would tell them, and this is just all honestly, just excuse me for being candid, it's okay to be a bitch. Have your standards, have your values, and stick with them. And if people don't like them, they're not worth your time. They're not worth your effort, because you're gonna find men they're gonna come yada yada. They're gonna come with their best game. But if it's not worth your time and worth your effort, don't do it. Just because you want to keep your value high. No man wants another man's trash. I'm just telling you the truth. So if another man was able to walk on you, and I'm not trying to bring you out the mud. I'm sorry. I just don't. I don't want an out the mud woman. I just don't. I don't think no man wants that. So don't let a man put you in the mud. And not saying that you can control that other person in your relationship, but just kind of know your value. So you are who you. I hate to put this like this, but you are who you deal with, I guess, in a sense. If you're dealing with drug dealers and things like that, that's your value, baby. Not too many women change from that. You're not gonna go from a drug dealer to a CEO. It's just not gonna happen. Just me knowing that, or you're not gonna go from just stick to your guns. I can tell you that. And the best advice I gave LaKendria was what was it?
The best advice you gave me in terms of dating?
Yeah.
Oh, that was really good advice. The best advice Trevion gave to me was actually, you were like, don't put up with anything that you don't want to put up with, because men don't do that. Like when men are tired, they're tired and they walk away. And when you said that to me, it was like a light bulb went off in my head. I was like, this is so true. It's like, if you don't want to put up with it, don't put up with it. And it wasn't like anything like irrational. It was just a really aha moment, because sometimes as women, we may feel the need to sacrifice, or we may feel the need to just do more. And when you said that, I was like, it freed me from so much. So thank you for that.
I'm telling y'all, come check me out. I'm going to get a business card. I'm going to run my number across the screen or something like that at the bottom.
Again, Trevion, it has been a pleasure having you today. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'll be back, y'all. Don't worry.
He'll definitely be back. We'll definitely be having more conversations with him, candid conversations with Trevion. But I thank you so much.
I'm gonna help all you women in these relationships. Just hit her Instagram. You can DM her. Don't DM me, please.
Maybe we should do a segment, Ask Trevion.
Oh yeah, we can do that.
We'll do that. Yeah, we'll do that. So if y'all have questions, drop your comments below once we post a video, and then me and Trevion will come back and answer any questions that you guys have. But other than that. Thank you for tuning in to Kandid Konversations with Ken. I enjoyed this. This has been very entertaining and enlightening for me. And I hope you guys enjoyed watching. See you again soon. Bye.
Peace.